Hi, my name is Hannah. My topic today is going to be the gender gap within universities. Imagine if you went to a college with predominantly all girls. So basically, I guess guys would like it, but girls not so much. And imagine how different your lives would be. My main claim here is that a gender gap at universities and colleges will soon make college unappealing to many. My supporting claims are there is no mixed gender interaction when a gender gap exists. My second supporting claim is that you don't get the full college experience when there is a gender gap. And my last supporting claim is that men are uninterested in attending traditional universities. So going back to my first supporting claim, that there is no mixed gender interaction with when a gender gap exists. So because it's harder for women to get accepted into college because of this gender gap, some colleges are trying to balance it. And for the universities who are accepting students based on academics, are basically more women are qualified, so they're the ones who are getting accepted. Therefore, more women versus men are in the colleges. An example of this would be when I found an editorial in the New York Times dated back in 2006. The author is Jennifer Britt. She is a dean of admissions in Kenyon College, and basically she's saying that there's this young girl, and she's a leader, president, editor, captain, lead actress in every activity in her school. She has taken 6 AP classes and has been selected for a prestigious state leadership program. In her free time, she still managed to complete 300 hours of community service in 4 different organizations. Unfortunately, her test scores, because of all of these activities that she was in, her GPA placed her into the middle pool, so it's kind of like undecided, not yes or no right away. And then, in the end, they decided to admit her because they kind of felt bad for her. But in the same editorial, it's explained that if a male applicant had the exact same high school resume, they would have been admitted in a heartbeat. My second claim is that you don't get the full college experience when there is a gender gap. Male sports programs tend to get more funding, and so if there's a giant gender gap, there will be less funding overall for sports, and so you won't get the full college experience. I found an article in the New Orleans City Business magazine showing that New Orleans wants to collect as much money in fundraising for sports, but when they itemized what sports, they were all predominantly male sports. Throughout the whole entire article, there was not one time where they said anything about women's sports at all. And also in this article, it also states that basically they need this money because when they're put towards men's sports, basically they get more revenues than they would if it was in a women's sport. Another reason why your college experience will be incomplete is because, in my experience, I remember friends when we were picking colleges, some of them were all like, oh, how's the Greek life? And so they would just base their decision on the Greek life of the school. So with the imbalance, functions for the sororities who would partner with, there wouldn't be very many choices, because there will be fewer fraternities on campus and the full experience that people are expecting will not happen. My third claim is that men are interested in attending traditional universities. Right now there are more technical schools available and that are widely known through commercials, for example like UEI, ITT Tech, University of Phoenix, and DeVry. These technical schools, basically, they just show you the things that you need for the field that you want, and all you need to qualify is a high school diploma or pass the GED test. With technology constantly changing, there are more computer jobs available. According to Mark Clayton of Christian Science Monitor, there is a thriving economy and wealth of computer-oriented jobs that have lured away males who would have otherwise attended traditional universities. As children, boys play on their computers and play video games. When they grow up, that is still all they want to do. So basically, when they grow up, they want to be in this field, and basically they want to do it as quick as possible to get to what they want to do. In conclusion, I want to remind you of all the things that I've discussed today. My main claim is that a gender gap at universities and colleges will soon make college unappealing to many. My three supporting claims were that there is mixed gender interaction with a gender gap when a gender gap exists, and therefore it's harder for women to get into college, and because of this gender gap, people don't want to go to college because of the gender gap. My second claim was that you don't get the full college experience when there is a gender gap, i.e. male sports programs, they'll get more funding and there won't be that much anymore because there won't be that many males. And that my third claim was men are uninterested in attending traditional universities, so they're all just going to technical schools. With all this said, I hope that you agree with me that this imbalance will deter many future students from going to college. Thank you.
Take as long as you want on the comment.
What was that? Ryan could get up and do the refutation right now. He's going, what? Does he remember his speech, you know? So all those things would apply in that situation. I thought you ID'd the topic adequately. You've got a very clear statement of what the claim is. There's an excellent preview of what the supporting points are. I didn't think that you documented the gender gap as well as you might have. It seemed to me like you talked about what some reasons for a gender gap would be, but I didn't get any statistical information that showed what the differential is at a variety of colleges and universities between men and women. It seems to be largely presupposed, and that I think would have been the easiest thing for you to plug into your presentation. Good signposting in the body of the speech. I thought you did a good job on that, and you established some credibility with your presentation. But there's a little bit of confusion for me because it seems like on the one point where you're saying women are having a hard time getting into schools, and you've got this long example that you present, and on the other point, on the other hand, guys aren't interested in going to school anyway. So which is it? Is it that women can't get into schools and the gender gap is therefore because there's a lack of women, or is it because there are too many women and there aren't enough guys? That was a confusing, to me, what seemed to be a contradiction in the argument, and I think that there's some problems in the way the argument is coming together as a consequence. You did okay in citing some information. I think you needed a bit more definitive information on what the impact is going to be. It seems largely speculative. Pacing is okay. You know, there are a couple of times when, for instance, you were presenting that first piece of evidence where it seemed like it took you a long time to get the citation out and very little time to get to the evidence, so you sometimes want to balance that a little bit. All right, thank you.